Hi, welcome to this course for the ERP Center of Excellence. And today we're going to talk about what is Business Central Online. And this will serve as a Dynamics 365 Business Central overview. Let's get started. So to answer the first question, what is Business Central? Well, the full name is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central Online. And that is obviously a pretty long name, so we typically refer to the software as Business Central, or in abbreviated form, just BC. So if we talk about BC or Business Central, we're referring to Dynamics 365 Business Central Online. So what is this software? It is often called an ERP system, an enterprise resource planning system. And that's just a fancy term to talk about business software that businesses use to help them run their finance, accounting, inventory, sales, and purchasing. It's sometimes more casually called accounting software or accounting system, but ERP system encompasses so much more than accounting. So accounting system is not usually the most accurate term for this type of software. You may see other marketing terms such as comprehensive business management application. That's just marketing lingo for enterprise resource software or business management software. And Business Central is a web-based application, meaning you can access it using your web browser just like many other websites and web applications and services that you're probably familiar with. And because it is in the cloud, because it is fully hosted and fully web-based and you don't have to install any software at a company, we refer to this as software as a service or SaaS. So if you hear the term SaaS ERP, that's what we're talking about, is a fully cloud-hosted, web-based application. So as I mentioned, you may hear some marketing lingo or buzzwords or other words to describe Business Central or ERP software in general. And so here's an example of a Microsoft web page describing Business Central, and they use phrases like comprehensive business management. They do mention ERP system, and they will use terms like transform your business operations, improve financial performance, boost sales and service, facilitate project success, and optimize supply chain. And these are just marketing and sales terms to discuss the features, functionality, and potential benefits of ERP software for a business. So the terms make it confusing, but at the end of the day, we are talking about Business Central, the software, the ERP application. So let's take a quick look at Business Central, the application, and you can see what it looks like. Okay, so here I have my Chrome browser open to show Business Central, and you can typically use Chrome or Microsoft Edge. You generally do not want to use Firefox due to potential rendering issues of the web page. So here I have Chrome, and this is a sample company in Business Central, and this is the user interface. And you see this is a get started message at the top here. I can close that to kind of clean things up. And then we have some information that can be displayed to you when you first log in, things that might be important to you on this role center page, as we call it. But let's just do a quick sample of how you might use Business Central. Let's say you have a new customer for your business. Well, let's go to Sales and Customers, and we'll create a new customer. And this will be a company. And so we will call this Big Financial Firm. And we can optionally fill out several additional fields. There are lots of fields, lots of options, as you can see here. But let's just say that we only need their address, and this is North Avenue, and this is in the United States, and make this San Diego, California, 92345. And you can optionally enter phone number. And this is just primarily for contact information or sending invoices via the mail, things like that. There are also numerous other options such as invoicing options. How do you want to invoice this customer? And it asks about taxes. So I don't have a California tax code, so let's just choose Miami. This is all sample data. So you see there are lots of options, lots of features here, which is part of the reason why we're having this training program. It takes many months to learn all of these features and how to use this software. So we've created a customer, big financial firm, and there they are. Now let's create a sales invoice. We could do a sales quote, a sales order, or a sales invoice. They're all very similar, but let's just pretend that this customer is ready to purchase, and we can type in part of their name and search. And there is big financial firm. Okay. And let's say that we spoke with Steve at the big financial firm. Okay. And now this customer wants to purchase a desk, and that is quantity 1. And they also want to purchase 2 chairs, quantity 2. So that's just a very, very brief glimpse into creating a customer, creating a sales invoice for that customer, and selling products to that customer. That's just one of many, many things you can do with this software, and I do not want to post it. And you can see here, we have lots of features and functionality: finance, cash management, sales, purchasing, and other modules that I'll discuss in a moment. So that is your 60-second tour of Business Central. Okay, so what is Business Central? How come I've never heard of it? Well, Business Central, that name is relatively new. It's roughly 3 to 4 years old at this point. The product was called a few other things as it was being developed. But if you have heard of any of these other similar products, that may give you some context for what Business Central is and what it does. So QuickBooks, or QuickBooks Online, that is a very common product in the United States at least, and thousands of businesses use QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online. Very, very popular. It helps businesses manage accounting, do sales, purchasing, bookkeeping, bank management, taxes, things like that. Then other similar products are FreshBooks, a product called Xero, Xero, I believe it's pronounced Xero. And then there's another one called Zoho Books. And my impression is that these 4 are generally lower cost for smaller businesses, but they're very, very popular and widely used. Historically, there were products from the Microsoft Dynamics product line called Dynamics NAV, or formerly Navision. And that is the origination of Business Central. So Navision was branded Dynamics NAV, and then it was made to be a web-based SaaS application, and it became Business Central. So Navision is the original genesis or original version of Business Central. And there's also another Microsoft product called Dynamics GP, formerly Great Plains. So if you've heard of Great Plains or Dynamics GP, these are all similar products, very similar to Business Central in terms of what they do. I guess more modern competitors that compete directly with Business Central would be products like NetSuite, also a web-based SaaS application, been around for over 20 years. There is Sage Intacct, formerly Sage or Mass products, and I believe they merged with the Intacct product line, and now they're called Sage Intacct, and they have several products. There's also Acumatica. Again, if you've heard of any of these and you understand kind of what they do, that is going to be some help. And lastly, SAP Business One is also fairly common in the mid-market. So who uses Business Central? I mentioned the term mid-market just now, And that's one term we use is mid-market ERP or mid-market accounting systems. Another term you may hear is SMB, small and medium businesses. And this is a kind of a broad category, and there aren't any clear definitions of SMB strictly, but in the United States, one general definition used by the US government for tax and other purposes is businesses under 500 employees. That would be considered a small or medium business in the United States. And that's not a hard and fast rule. It could be 400, it could be 800. And then my rough estimate is approximately $10 million to $500 million in revenue is a rough range of where many of the SMB businesses lie. And one interesting statistic that's relevant to what we do with Business Central is that roughly 98% of companies in the United States have fewer than 100 employees. That's pretty amazing that that is the case. We hear a lot about large companies, Amazon, Boeing, Walmart, these companies with thousands and thousands of employees, but 98% of businesses are far smaller and are candidates to use Business Central. These are businesses that you might use every day without knowing it. Food franchises. If you go to a fast food restaurant and order a burger or pizza, it is likely that if that is owned by a franchisor, that is a franchise restaurant that is using something like Business Central, a mid-market ERP system. There are property management firms, gasoline delivery companies, light bulb retailers, car parts, trucking, law firms, aircraft repair and maintenance, internet providers, paint manufacturers, and I even had a customer that was a fire department. So just about any company can be in the small and medium business space and use Business Central. There are thousands and thousands of such companies. However, just because it is largely used by the SMB companies does not mean that it cannot be used by larger companies. I've worked with customers that have $1 billion, $2 billion, or $3 billion in revenue that are still using mid-market accounting or ERP systems. Works perfectly fine for their particular business. And they are not limited by that ERP system just because they make more than $1 billion. And also, although SMBs are largely private companies, there are many public companies that are listed on public stock exchanges that do use mid-market ERP software. So many of those, you would never know their name, but they're a $500 million publicly traded company, and they will use Business Central. Very, very common.